So I wanna start now. It's 12:05. So again, if we get everything done, we finish in time, and we can I can let you guys go earlier. What I want to start with is a quick check-in. A quick check-in again, just to sort of get everybody here, peers in a new classroom, a new new learning thing going on, and answer the question that I left you with last week. I'm not looking for a long discussion about it. Just quickly, something that you learned last week. I left you with the question of something that you already knew about yourself and something that you learned, something new. And see, there's a couple of new people here, so I don't know if you watched, if you have any thoughts, or you want to just if you weren't here and you didn't watch the video or whatever it is that they do in class, and you don't have an answer to that specific thing, I guess then think about something that over the week, something that you learned about yourself and something that you already knew. Okay, this is about insights into ourselves, and paying attention in the moment, the fact that we have an opportunity to learn in every situation that we have. Okay, so I'm going to need first and last names because she gave me an updated list for myself. You guys are responsible for signing in over there. If you don't sign in, then I can't vouch that you were here. I can't vouch for you, what that means. I can't say, yeah, she was here. And I have to sign off on like a little certificate thing that you guys get that you took this course. And I really am way too honest. And if I don't know that I have it here, if I don't know that you were here, then I can't sign off on it. So I trust that everybody's going to be honest about it. If you're here and you're participating and you're being part of it, that you get that certificate. It's kind of hard for me to sign off on something that people can do. So, okay, so let's get started. Hello. So again, something that you learned about yourself and something that you already knew. Okay? No, we're checking in. Just going around your name and answer the question. Okay? Who would like to start? Turning off the phone.
Wait, I wasn't here last week. It should just be about something that happened in my whole week.
Correct.
Okay, so I can start.
Sorry, we missed you.
Oh, I missed you too.
What's your name?
My name is Heidi Smith.
Heidi Smith. Mrs. Samet?
Yeah.
Smith.
Me.
Do me a favor here. Make this a little easier for me. Oh, you're on this list, right?
I should be.
Okay, give me 1 second. Samet? Okay.
No?
Not on this one. This is, she made a separate one with all your numbers and everything. Okay, okay. So, welcome.
Hi. So, well, my husband was out of town for the week, and both my kids got really sick, and I just realized that I could deal with a lot harder things than I ever thought I could deal with.
Good.
Okay. And something that I knew about me from before, I guess when he went before, and I just know that, like, I don't know, like, thank God I could, like, people say, like, oh, you're so amazing that your husband goes out of town, but thank God it's, like, not so bad, you know? Like, I just deal with it, you know?
Okay. So you know that you have the skills to be able to deal with it, and you learned that you actually really do and can deal
like,
with it.
even more than I thought when things get really hard.
Okay.
Is that it?
Thank you. gonna go around if nobody volunteers.
I think there's a better idea.
I'm sorry?
I think there's a better idea.
Okay, so go ahead.
Just
Just tell me your name again, please.
called Brody.
Brody
Actually, I'm never probably Adler.
Adler? That's what you really want. Okay, go ahead.
Something I knew about something I learned about myself, I think, was resilience. That I have the ability to deal with stress, even though I doubt myself a lot. But when I'm actually faced with that challenge, I'm able to deal with it.
Okay.
Something I knew about myself.
I'm sorry?
Can I have a second to think?
Something that you already know, from the exercises that we did, from what we learned,
I
something that
guess.
you knew already.
Okay, I guess I have that support. I have the support system. Even though last week I was doubting it, I do have the support system when I need it.
Okay, good. Okay. Okay.
Hi, my name is Rosie Leventhal.
Okay.
I wasn't here last week, but something just from this past week that I know about myself is that I'm very capable. Something that I am trying to learn about myself is that I am capable to do things I'm afraid of, even though I'm afraid. I can get past those fears. Amen.
Okay. So, welcome.
Asa.
Tova,
Asa.
here you are. Dakala.
That's right.
Probably learning a
Yeah.
lot.
Okay.
Are you coming?
I guess in like the pictures with the job, the relationship, so I learned things that I didn't know. I didn't know about like how I relate to
Okay, so different awarenesses about your relationships, okay?
So I'm
You
saying
like that?
things that I didn't know already.
Uh-huh,
and
okay.
Things that I didn't.
Okay, so that brought out awarenesses about your relationship, things that you knew and things that you didn't realize. Great. Okay, thanks for that. Okay, hi.
I'm Leah Sternbach. I wasn't here last week. Trying to pick up the pieces.
I did not catch that name. That
Leah
Shamble?
Sternbach.
Shamble.
Sternbach.
Okay. Sternbach. Okay, and what's your first name?
Chava Leah.
Kavalea. Okay, Kavalea. So, okay,
I'm trying to pick up on pieces.
trying to pick up,
I wasn't here last week.
okay, so just something from your week in general?
Of my awareness.
Of something that you learned about yourself that you didn't realize and something that you already knew?
I mean that.
Huh?
So I learned about myself, more connection to my feeling,
Okay,
and I'm trying to think something that I knew.
you knew how to make great dinner. Really, it doesn't have to be so deep. Because most times for my clients, we don't get such deep stuff all the
So
time,
I
right?
knew more about dealing with my children and
Okay,
being more open and with them, complimenting them more.
so, great. Welcome, thank you. Okay, Legacy we already got. Next,
Thank you.
okay. And I'm gonna come back to you. Yeah?
Will?
Toga? Kavi. Mendel?
Right.
Kavi Mendel, there you are. Okay.
I knew the point that you shouldn't you really should let the person or whatever but don't take things for granted.
Okay,
Don't make assumptions.
okay.
But for the art was like really it really brought out the feeling to me. It was like I don't see how clear, like I said before, like I did it with my two kids, and my teenager drew a line between me and my husband because he doesn't like when we team up, like because then he loses the power of arguing with the other one. So, and if I would just take it as the wall between us, I would like start thinking, you know, like what's the friction when really there's no friction. So that was.
So that's something you knew?
I knew it in my head, but I didn't know, it wasn't something that I knew, so like, I knew it technically, but I didn't know it emotionally, you know?
Okay.
I think that answers both.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Javi. Okay.
Etty Zevnik.
Etty Gizovnik?
I'm a new La Zevnik.
Lazovnik. Gotcha. Etty. Great.
Something I
Thank you.
learned really is relearning and reminding is coming into a new group takes time and adjustment,
Okay.
even if I've been in the other groups and many other circumstances still. Something I knew is that I absolutely love working one-on-one in therapy, in art, and working with other pieces.
Great. Thank you. Thanks, Etty. Okay.
Tomorrow, please.
So,
Something I was surprised to learn was that when I did an exercise with my partner last week, my partner, in my eyes, my partner charted her closeness to her family relatives. I didn't think about that except that I noticed that I charted my distance from my family and relatives. And I was stunned by the orientation.
Okay.
Something I knew was that, again, like Javi said, something I knew in my head and it came out in the chart and it was somebody that I left off the chart.
Right.
Now, I
I
could have told you that,
Right.
but to have forgotten that person on the family relationships chart, again, was, I knew it, but did I not?
So it was significant.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Laura.
Connie Schwartz.
Okay. Connie.
Something I learned about myself is that I can be more organized than I give myself credit for. And something I know about myself is that I am a loyal friend.
Great. Thanks, Connie. Okay.
So something I know about myself is that I was doing the project in class last week. Like I knew where to put people, or I thought I knew where to put people, and like I had it down. Like I didn't need to plan any erasers. I got a pencil so I could erase. And I learned that what I thought where I put people in my head wasn't necessarily how I feel when I put it down on paper. Like maybe I am closer with them than I thought. And then the people that I forgot about important people, so I think that they belong there too, and I need to look at them.
Okay. So you're talking about the again an awareness of relationships and where and how relationships are. Okay. Thank you.
Noe Shapiro. Is this specifically to the diagram that we drew?
Yes.
yesterday?
Well, or anything that we learned, anything that we did last week.
I was thinking of a different tone entirely within my week that showed me a certain I realized where I placed my husband and myself were kind of not together in the family, but on different kind of like encompassing, like on one end and the other end, and it was like I understood that we have different roles, not less and not more, but just different. That was an understanding, and I knew that. Just seeing it on paper made it a little more, and something that I realize is how much one of my children, who seems to be a little bit out of a little more unique on an individual, how much that must bother me, even though, because I put them a little bit outside, or even in a different size. There was something that demarcated a difference.
So again, looking at where you positioned the relationships, there was an awareness.
It made it clearer to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great, because that's really what this exercise is a lot about, is sort of making us aware of what's different, or not, or the same, what we already knew. Okay, thank you. I mean, Nomi or Nami?
Naomi,
Naomi.
It's both.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
I'm Tammy Rosenberg. When I did the picture, I left two people off it quite consciously. Like I was a bit like, should I put them on or should I not? And if I would have put them on, they would have been quite far up there. And I was like happier that they're not on there, but they really are there and I need to do it.
Okay. So that is something you knew already, or is something new? Was that something you realized already, or something new?
Yeah, but I probably didn't realise how maybe real or big it is that I didn't put them on, because I really like in my happy picture rather than,
Okay.
So we made it more real, and I think I realised from that it's something I should deal with.
Good. Okay.
Shani Pennis. Something that I didn't know was that my immediate family, I basically knew where to play, but my extended, not extended, but siblings, that I didn't know exactly where I should place them, so that was something new. I thought I had everyone very figured out in my head.
Okay, good.
No, it was more like, let's say, my siblings, a connection to my sibling in law, how much lower down, so that was some adjustment. I don't think I got it right yet.
Okay.
And something that I didn't know that I've got, that I know where to place my immediate family, got that right.
Okay, so again, relationships, good. Thank you, Shani. Okay.
The last week, it was very enlightening. What I knew about myself, I guess I didn't really know, but it came out, and it helped me realize it, is that I can be calm, and it's a nice feeling.
Okay.
Well, is that, and I do owe that, and something that I learned, something that was new, with both, someone had a diagram, and yesterday it hit me how hard that relationship needs work. Right?
Okay. Yeah, that is really, that exercise is really good for all of us, so good. Okay.
Colonizer.
Okay.
More factual, I learned that I thought that art therapy was very much studying the picture, and you as a therapist, you learn the rules, and they use black and they do this and they use different colors and everything. So I liked it, that it was more real, it was more for them to go into themselves and see how that works. So I thought that was something new, and something I already knew. I like to learn new things.
Great, perfect. Okay. Great, thank you.
Shmarvas, right? And I think I already knew, where I felt in relationship, my husband, kids, and other people in my life. But seeing it in black and white or red and yellow, whatever it was, makes it more, it's a stronger impression, a deeper impression as to what you really feel and think. But the other thing that I learned, being there last weekend so far, is that coming to a classroom is like a long vacation compared to the life.
Okay.
It's a vacation.
Right.
Okay.
I think I shared it last week. Something I learned from doing the diagram was someone I placed much. I didn't realize how close they were, and I kind of wanted the distance. So I think the whole week I was aware of that, and I was like we're trying to work on it, and it's something new, and I'm still going to work. And something that I know about myself, I'm strong and able when it comes to tough times.
So really what a lot of you were saying, the piece that I want to really speak to really quickly, is the part of the awareness that art can bring up for a person, right? So when they're willing to look at it and process it for themselves, and again, you could process it, if you looked at that same drawing now, it might come up, or if you did it today, something else might come up, it might be completely different. So, but what's really great is that when we see that, and then we think about our relationships in general the rest of the week before the next session. And when a client uses what they learned in a session and applies it to their life, and that's why it's really important to follow up with your clients to say, oh, is there anything you want to say about last week, anything about what you did? Sometimes some kids will say, I don't remember what I did. Fine. But if there was something, it's really important for you to be present enough to be able to say, okay, something came up for you in your creation of whatever it is that you created, and be present with it and validating it. It's really, really very important. Okay? So thank you. Welcome, everyone. There's a couple names here of people that I don't know where they are, so we will figure that out. Okay, so what I want to do today is just talk for a little bit, and then we'll play. I want to, was this mine? I hope there are enough here. It doesn't feel like there's enough here. It really doesn't feel like there's enough here. Take and see. These are the art structures. This is a real basically things that I use for the most part, and that I feel are the simplest ones that you have, so you'll have them in your hand and you'll know what to give it to them. And is that it? That's the end of it? So how many more do we need?
We're just getting one handout right now.
Yeah, just getting one. So how many more do you need? Two? We need two. Okay. I'm sorry? One person to take. You put down for her, right?
No, my friend is not here.
Oh, so three. We're missing three. Could you do me a favor, please? And just go tell she'll get 3 more copies.
Can we do 4? Because
4 more copies? 5 more copies? Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay. Huh? No, she knows. They are she knows what it is. So I'll wait for her to come back, but for the most part, some of these are structures that I've made up. So you're not necessarily going to read them in the books. What happens for me, because I've been doing, is that I will take a book like any one of these books, for example, the Art Therapy for Groups, the Expressive Arts Therapy, the Source Book, any of these, and it'll give an idea of a structure to use, and then I'll tailor it to my client. Like I'll figure out how to use it specifically for that client. So sometimes I do the same exercise over and over again, but it's not always the same. It doesn't look the same. It doesn't. It depending on the age of the child or the age of the person, whatever I'm working with. It depends on that. This work is about really connecting with your creativity and really being flexible about what you're going to use and how you're going to use it. Okay. So the first one started out when I first started doing it. Okay, fine. Deal with it. If you can share so that you guys have what to look at, and then we'll make sure that we get. So the first one, when I first started doing this exercise a long time ago, I called it a conversation drawing. And I really use this almost with every single client I have. And sometimes not with teenagers. It depends. It really depends on what's going on. But almost every client I use, I start with this. And I started as a conversation drawing because what I started with is I would introduce it by saying, you're here in therapy. What is a conversation? Conversation is when you talk to each other. But when we use art, we don't talk. We don't talk as much. So, in other words, it's not about just sitting and processing it, what's going on in your life just by sitting and saying, what happened yesterday, and this happened, and that happened, and my mom did this, and my dad did that. So I would start by saying, we're going to have a conversation, but we're not going to talk. And then what happened is I would get these like blank stares. This is totally something that I made up. I might have gotten the idea from somewhere. And what happened was kids started thinking that it had to be like a real conversation, like the drawing of a thumbs up and then a heart, like, I love you, or, like symbols and then who's next. And it wasn't at all what I meant. So I very quickly sort of, over the last, 3 or 4 years, I've changed it. And what happened is I changed it because I was working with a delicious 7-year-old who decided almost every week he wanted to do this drawing because it was his way of coming in and connecting with me. And what happened was when it was kids who didn't know what to do next, I would say, okay, I'm going to draw, you're going to draw, I'm going to draw, you're going to draw, and the only words that we're going to say is your turn. And then what happened is that this child basically renamed my drawing, my idea, into what I call now a your turn drawing. Because it makes it clearer. So then it's not about literally having a conversation. It's a your turn drawing, and we're taking turns. Because when I write here, it's used with kids that are resistant to talk. Okay, so that's one thing, when kids don't want to talk. So it's a way of just engaging right away by taking turns, drawing something, okay? Or just a way to begin connecting a session. And that's really how I use it. I really use it as a way to begin connecting a session. Obviously, except to say the words your turn. And I say, we're not going to talk, except to say your turn, just to see what happens, and let's see how long it goes for. I usually have it go for 15, 20 minutes. It depends. There's a lot I learned by this drawing. Okay, and I'm going to go over it. Okay, so it starts by you decide who will go first. Then the first person makes a mark or a line or an image. If I say, okay, this is what we're going to do, who's going to go first? And they say, I don't care. I don't know. So I usually play a game where I'll take 2 different color markers, put them behind my back. Yeah, so there's a yellow and a blue. Pick a color. Yellow. I pull one forward. It's a yellow. Okay, you go first. Yellow, I go first. Blue, you go first. And that way, no one's making the decision. It takes the power. That way, I didn't decide. They didn't decide. I didn't tell them what to do. It was just a quick, easy way, especially with kids who don't like to say what to do. I have a lot of kids, recently, a lot of kids who don't want to decide what to do. They just don't want to decide, and obviously there's pathology behind that.
What did you put behind the back?
I say, all the markers are out. They say, I don't know what to do. I don't care who goes first. So you don't care? You sure? You don't want to know? Okay, so here. Green, I go. Brown, you go. Okay, pick a color.
Green.
Okay. So green, I go. So I start. Simple. It just starts it out so that it's not like...
No, pick a hand. Go to your left.
No, I go like this. I mix them up in the behind my back.
Yeah.
It's a simple, it's nothing...
Green eye go.
Green eye go, whatever. It's a local shoot. Okay? And that's how I decide who goes first. Okay? Then I get, I don't know what to do first. I don't know what to tell you to do. Whatever you want. Do whatever you want. Most times kids will come up with something. I have been doing the same thing for years. When the kids tell me to start, someday I'm gonna write a paper about it and everything that it means. But I will leave my you know what? I'll leave my iPad here of pictures. I have pictures of the of all my your turn drawings on here.
You work on the same drawing, on the same piece of paper.
Yeah. Okay, I'll show you in a minute, just to give you an idea of some of them. decide who will go first, do whatever you want, the next responds, and you just keep going until either you run out of time or you decide, this is getting really boring, or the child says, I don't want to do this anymore. Okay, so that's usually how I do it. I do this when I bring in parents. I have the child and the parent do it together, or the child and the parents do it together for your turn drawing. Gosh, do I learn a ton watching that. I'm going to go through that in a second. And then we talk about what was it like for you. There's questions about looking for how they use the space, whether, I had kids who they'll only color in the corner. They won't even interact with me. I'll try to interact. Maybe they'll draw something and I'll add to it. I won't talk about it. I'll see their reaction. Sometimes they'll cross it out. Sometimes they won't say anything, and then afterwards I'll say, what was it like when I colored in your butterfly? What was that like for you? I didn't care, or I didn't like the colors you chose. Like, there's a lot of learning about interacting when you're sharing a space with drawing creatively. Looking for connections, resistances. Is there a communication? Talk about the need for communication in a relationship. So then when I'm done with it, when I'm done with the drawing, I'll say, we couldn't talk to each other, but you understand that I drew what I drew, whatever I did. You didn't know what it was, but you couldn't ask me, could you? And so you did what you thought it was. And what if I made something of yours that you thought it was something else? You wanted it to be something else, and I made it into something else. So I talk about communication. And one of the reasons I use this at the beginning so much is because I talk about how in therapy we have to learn how to communicate somehow. Because otherwise, I don't want to assume that I understand, that I know exactly what you mean. If you can't say, well, I meant that to be, what's an example of something I've done before? I've meant that to be a bird, and you made it into a butterfly. Right? So then I didn't know that. And so we talk about how we can miscommunicate when we can't talk to each other. I tell them that I ask a lot of questions so that I can make sure that I understand. So what did you mean by that? What does that mean to you? Etc. So those kinds of things of just sort of processing what does it mean to the client, what they did.
Do you give them a certain amount of time span?
Okay, so that's an excellent question. Excellent question. I have some kids who are just paper hogs, man. They just take up the whole time. And I mean, it's a little secret is that I partly do it because I want to color. So if I don't get a chance to color, it depends on the age and the child and the energy I'm feeling. I might say, are you going to give me a turn? Am I going to get a turn? I might say something like that. Or if I find that this is a very close kid, I might just reflect, well, you're using a lot of your time. You really, either I'll say, I feel like maybe you don't want to give me a turn, or you're really enjoying having your turn, aren't you? And just leave it, just sort of put that out there. Yeah, there's some kids who will color for the whole 15 minutes and fill up the whole page. And then I learn a lot from that. I learn a tremendous amount, and the kid who doesn't want to share the space for me. They don't want to share the space with me. It's information that I store in the back of my mind.
When do you use this information you store?
As I'm working, as I continue to work, I look for patterns. When else does this come up? Shared space, understanding, asking, making note of it, asking the parents later, where does this come up in their life where they don't share, they don't want anybody to touch their stuff. They're very needy with their space. It's all, for me, it's...
You write down?
Yes, I write down all the things that I notice about it afterwards. It's very diagnostic for me. It's part of an assessment that I do of just understand. Now, just because I do it once doesn't mean that's a blanket statement, what you were saying before. It doesn't mean that's exactly what I know about it. It's just interesting information I store in my back pocket, and I come back to it. When I come, I see 1 second, when I come and I meet with the parents later, I might point it out to them and say, this is what I noticed, and I'm wondering where else this comes up. Usually it's a behavior that is prevalent in the child.
I want to know how you would use art therapy to
reflecting, so let's say this child has an issue with sharing space or, with others or whatever, how would you deal with it from from actually our therapist? How would you deal with, correcting the behavior?
So again, that's not until way down the line.
Right.
In other words, the correcting of it is not, in this first kind of session, this is all about assessment.
Right.
So the correcting, let's get back to that, because I want to get through this. I will get back to that, okay? And if I don't, you have my permission to nudge me about it, okay? I just want to
All
say,
these techniques are for assessing, they're not for dealing with the actual.
well, part of what it's a very good question. Part of what we do in art therapy is we're dealing, because we're creating relationship. I believe probably more than 100%. I can't even say it's less than 100%. That the work that I do as a therapist, a creative arts therapist, expressive arts therapist, whatever I want to call myself, the work that I do is most importantly about the relationship that I have with the person I'm working with. When I've created a relationship, anything can happen. So I am these are all about creating safety and creating relationship in the therapy room. When the relationship is there and the kid feels, or the adult feels, that they can trust me because I'm listening and I'm reflecting and I'm watching what they're doing and I'm seeing what they're doing, a relationship happens. Think about the person that you trust most in your life. How do you know that you can trust them? How do you know that you can trust somebody? It's a building of relationship. It's a building of knowing that that person sees you, hears you, responds to you, etc. It's really important that in this work, it's really about the relationship. Now, relationships don't get built in 4 or 5 sessions. It's the beginning of it. But that's the hardest part of this work, is telling parents, I don't have a quick fix. I don't have a quick fix for you. It's going to take some time. It depends on your child and how trusting they are. It depends on the teenager I'm working and how trusting they are. Most teenagers are less trusting. Or if I'm working with adults who have years of not trusting behind them. So it's about me being present and my presence in the room creating that trust. Okay? Okay. So I'm going to move on because I really want a chance to do this exercise. Okay, quick. The next one is what I call the window drawing. We're going to do this one also today. I take a piece of paper and a marker. And in other words, they come in, how's your week, are you in the mood? Is there anything special you want to do? How about if you do, I want to ask you to do a quick drawing for me, right? Because this is also an assessment drawing. And I take a piece of paper and a marker, and I draw a box with a marker that hopefully works better than this one. And, no garbage. I throw away dead markers right away. The worst thing, most insulting thing you can do to a client is bring out a marker that doesn't work. Okay? And I have plenty of them. They dry up, and I throw them away, and I love buying new markers, so it gives me a reason to. Okay, so I draw a square on the page, and I say to them, this is a window. Okay? You're either standing on the inside looking out, or on the outside looking in. Draw what you see.
It's your life, it's your outside of the
Okay, so then I get all kinds of questions. What do you mean exactly? Am I looking, do I do the whole thing? Do I do the little thing? Do that? You're standing either, this is a window, and I just say it again. This is a window. You're standing on the inside looking out, or the outside looking in. Choose one first. Do you want to be standing on the inside looking out, or the outside looking in? Okay, I want to be on the inside looking out. Okay, draw what you see. That's it. No. Because from there, I'm looking at perception. How do you understand the directions? How do you draw what you understood? There's no wrong or right way here. I'm not going to grade you on how you do the drawing. Okay.
Well, many autistic people come to you and also
creative.
What?
You have to be very creative.
No, you don't.
About parents and children who are autistic.
It doesn't draw anything. I mean, It's simple. You can make a sun. I mean, it doesn't,
Yeah, what could you tell from just making a sign?
that it's not, again, what I said last week that you missed was that it's not about what they're drawing, it's the process. It's about how they use the space. It's about understanding what's going on between me and them and their understanding. A lot of these structures, I'm trying to get a handle on how their brain works. Trying to understand how they work, how they use things, just getting a real good sense, okay? I want to move on. We're gonna hopefully have time to do the window drawing, so I don't want to say any more about that, okay? We're gonna come back to it and I'm gonna talk more about it. The family drawing is create your family, or create your family doing something together. I usually start with saying to people, draw your family doing something together. The more creative people will get right to work. The other one will say, can I just draw my family? I'll say, sure. Okay, so again, look for who is and isn't in the picture, who is closer, who's far away. Sort of like what we did last week with the voice drawing, right? With
This is from their origin, or
that's what you learn. You learn who they consider to be a family. I do a friends drawing because in Ron Tassel's book, The Breaking Through Teens, he talks a lot about how friends are the second family.
Yeah.
So I do a lot. I usually do one, especially with teenagers, on their friends because of the second family and trying to understand who the friends are and who's the support system.
Don't they put this into their, like people that are important in their life?
That's a different drawing.
A different drawing.
It's a different drawing. With little kids, with younger children, I tend to do more of a family drawing. Because I say this is my way of getting to know who's in your life, so I can understand who is who. I don't always do both drawings. Do one or the other. The friends drawing is different. Okay? Again, I'm just giving you a taste of all these. I want to get done so we can at least do 2 or 3 of these today, okay? The bridge drawing, I ask the client to draw a bridge. Okay? When they're done, I ask them to put themselves on the bridge where they are, not on the bridge, where they are in the picture. So draw a bridge. You're going from somewhere to somewhere else. Draw the bridge. When they're done, where would you put yourself in this picture? I'm looking for the foundation and the sturdiness of the bridge, what kind of bridge they drew, is it a flimsy bridge, what kind of bridge? And I ask questions about the bridge. Have you seen a bridge like this before? Is it a strong bridge? Is it going to blow in the wind? Is it very sturdy? Is it, all kinds of questions I want to know about the bridge, because I'm getting an idea of foundation, right? I'm not analyzing, I'm not going to get an answer about how grounded they feel in their life, right? But it's an idea of sort of using images, how they see themselves, or how they see their journey from one place to another.
it's only if it's about the verbal discussion after the drawing.
Well, again,
you can't assume
that
just because someone draws 2 lines that it's not grounded. Right.
Can't assume. You don't assume a thing.
You do different things for different people, like if someone's coming to you for an anorexia problem, you do something specific to them, you do the same for everyone. And someone's coming because they're being bullied.
These are all assessment drawings that I use
These
in
are
the
basically
beginning,
always, yeah.
just to get an idea in different ways, okay? And then if they're coming from somewhere and going to, there's a lot of, what they're leaving behind, what they want to leave behind, what they want to have themselves, what they're dreaming about. There's all kinds of imagery that goes into that. Again, I know I'm giving this to you really, really basic. I don't have time to do each one in detail. And you're welcome to explore it more. Okay, let me just keep going. The name drawing is something really interesting that I do. Is that you have supplies in front of you and you create your name, draw your name in a creative way, the way you're feeling right now, or something that you want to tell me about yourself. So whether you want to use a lot of color, teenagers are really into this drawing because they love to write their name all the time, and they can get creative with it. So it's just sort of, they write their name and then they color it in and they put pom-poms and feathers and glitter and you know what I mean, and then they have this thing with their name on it, which they love. So, and again, I'm looking for joining, I'm looking I'm joining with them, I'm looking for ideas of how they see themselves. I don't want to do that drawing, I hate my name, that kind of stuff.
You tell them to draw their name, you tell them to do it creatively.
Draw or
according to
create your name.
You say that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly how I write. Draw, create your name the way you're feeling right now, or draw, create your name in a way to tell me whatever it is you want me to know about you. Yeah.
And pom-poms and feathers and glitter, I said, this is not a boy thing, it's a girl thing.
The truth is, the boys, they'll use more markers, and they do use glitter. I use glitter glue, actually. The glitter glue is much less glittery, you know what I mean? It's the glue stuff. Absolutely. I mean, especially younger boys, but, years. Little boys. Okay. The support tree drawing is something really, really important. This is a really important drawing. I ask the clients to draw a tree, and in the tree, you ask the client to write the names of the people that support them and put them where they belong in the tree. This can give both client and therapist insight into who supports the client and how they receive the support. So who they would put in the show rash, who would put in the leaves, or in the trunk.
How do you tell John who supports you?
This is harder for children.
Right.
This is not what I would use for kids. Use it more for teens and adults. Definitely for adults.
I was thinking
Because
for little kids.
Yeah, no. Good thing you for pointing that out. Okay, the voice drawing is what we did last week. Okay, the people influences. Look, that's supposed to be fork in the road drawing. Fork. You're on a road, the instruction is you're on a road and you come to a fork. This is when you have kids that have dilemmas, they come in, they don't know what to do. I don't know, I had a girl who was really conflicted, her schoolwork, urban Kiva, and how to separate it all and what to do, and she drew, you're in a road and you have different directions to go, what should you do, and draw where you're going to, and then we were able to process what going to B'nai Kiva, working, becoming a Matrikan B'nai Kiva was versus what, her homework and her family life, and she saw it all out in front of her, like many of you said already today, and she was able to help herself make a decision about what her priorities were and what were really important to her by seeing it sort of as a fork in the road and what to decide.
You helped to decide.
We added the process of it.
You spoke that to the.
Yeah, we talked about each one of the forks and the importance of each direction that she was going to and how to find.
You spoke right then. No speaking.
I mean, a lot of it is processing. A lot of it is processing. Sometimes I run out of time processing because they work really hard on the art. And what I do all the time when someone is drawing, which I did last week and I will do when you are drawing, is to remind the client to pay attention to any thoughts or feelings that are coming up as you're creating this. It's an awareness, it's a mindfulness, and later on, either they'll say, I didn't feel anything or I'm not feeling anything now, but it's teaching to become aware of what you're doing and what's going on. It's an important mindfulness technique.
Even for the kids?
I'm sorry? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it like when you're drawing that? Yeah. When you notice, what are you thinking about? Yeah, make it simple. But it's the beginning of teaching mindfulness techniques, and it's about paying attention to what's coming up for you as you're drawing this. The scribble drawing is an assessment tool that I use to help me understand a client's ability to be abstract or concrete. Take a paper, choose a color like a marker. I tell the client, start to scribble whatever you want on the page. So I do it first. I tell them I'm feeling the page, I'm scribbling. Okay, now see what you can find. An object. I have some kids who get right in there and they find awesome stuff. And I say I'm usually not looking for like a figure 8. There's a lot of fish that come out of these kind of things. I'm not looking for an 8 or for a number. Like, do you see something? You see a face, and then they take the markers and they draw, and you can add, I tell them you can add other lines, you can add other things to it. I've gotten some really, really great stuff. And then there's the kids who just say, I can't see anything. And then I have an understanding of their ability to see abstract within lines. It just helps me just have a little bit more knowledge about maybe how creative they are, how creative their thinking is, Are they very concrete in their thinking and it is whatever is right in front of them? That they can deal with. They can't deal with something that they have to make up. So it's just, again, it's assessment, it's learning a little bit more information and trying to get an idea.
What do you do with this then? Once you've got all, you've assessed them.
I do it about, I'm sorry?
Once you've assessed them, you've done these assessment things, what do you ask?
So then I know how to work with them.
How do you, and they go for specific things with them?
In other words, I know what kind of things to work with them with. I know what I can expect. In other words, I will do, they'll do less abstract type of art and more, I don't know, building with popsicle sticks and more concrete kind of things. And during that time, we're talking, we're dealing with issues that are going on in their lives.
Before they come to you, you know what their problem is, why they're being sent to you?
Not necessarily. I mean, the parents will call and say, this is the issue with my child. Usually I get a phone call, the parents will say, I got your number from so-and-so, this is the issue that I'm having with my child. I listen a little bit, I take some notes, I tell the parents how I work, I first meet with the parents, I do an intake with the parents, and I have a whole list of questions that I do with them. And then I meet with the child about 4 or 5 times. And during that time, I'm doing assessment, my own information gathering, relationship building, safety building, etc. I just started over the last couple months. Then I do a session with the parents and a child, where they're creating something together, which I will get to.
Teenager, child,
Yeah. It depends, but usually that's what I do. And then I meet just with the parents again. And we do feedback and...
you meet with the children, parents equally, basically, in the same amount of time.
Well, yeah, if I'm working with a child, I have to work with the parents. You absolutely have to.
You do art therapy with them though?
Yes.
They also talk to
when the parents are with the child, yes.
No, when they're themselves?
No. Usually not. Okay. A couple other quick ideas, okay? The laminated words is, I take words. I don't know if, what I did it with was, I had those magnet words, for like the refrigerator, and I photocopied them and made them bigger, and then I laminated them. And so I put the words out on the table, and I had the child choose 6 or 7 words, either 6 or 7 words that speak to them, 6 or 7 words that they like, 6 or 7 words, whatever. Make a sentence with it, or stop, just use those 6 or 7 words. Put in any order, and then I'll do things like, well, I haven't done this one in a long time. This is a good one. I forgot about this one. Assign people in your life to different words, which is really good, like a lot of good information you get from that. And make sentences with that word about the person. Or create an image about all those words together. Like something that all those words remind you of, and create, something like that. So that's something I made up, and I forgot about that one. Okay. Magazine collages are huge. I mean, especially with teenagers and kids, but mostly with teenagers. There's many different ways to use magazine collages. You have 2 options when you're working with magazines. One is allowing the client to look through the magazine. You put out magazines, you allow them to look through the magazines. The problem with this is it takes more time, because they're reading articles, and they're looking at the different things, and they get stuck in it. But what's good about it, it evokes other emotions and topics that come up, and emotions. So again, it depends on the time, depends on the child, depends on what your goal is, etc. Anyway, they might see a picture or an article of something they agree or not agree. That is a big piece of it. The other option is having prepared images. I don't have any more of these. Can you just run to Shippy and see, and so we need about 5 or 6 more copies of it? Yeah, tell her that Sarah needs more of the copies of that. Thank you. So having prepared images. Sometimes when I'm just sitting around with magazines in front of me, I have a box of people, of faces, and a box of miscellaneous stuff. And so I might just take out they're already pre-cut images. And it's more directive. You need to make sure you have a wide variety. The cultural sensitivity piece is a big, big piece. It's a really, really important piece because Obviously, like we're gonna do some magazine stuff, and I tried to go through to make sure that all the images in there were appropriate. And so you have to make sure, I assume, and with adults, we will be able to handle it. I mean, I'm not talking about any naked people, I'm talking about maybe girls in tank tops or something like that. But that is something that you have to be sensitive to.
And the parents not.
Exactly, so that is something that you have to be sensitive to. And in my assessment of the parents, I asked the parents that question. I asked them about internet, because sometimes I'll look up an idea on my iPad of an idea of a creative, kid wants to make something with paper, that kind of thing. Or I'll ask them about magazines, doing collages. Is it okay if they see men or women faces? If I'm working really in the furry community, I won't take out the magazines at all. And I'll ask them if it's okay. Like I put that in my intake form. It's a question that I ask because I want to be very sensitive to that. Okay, people. So miscellaneous, I do people and phrases or words. Which is hard for me to do because phrases or words to me might be different than important ones to you that you see. Like if you wanted to do a collage and you wanted to put specific words. So I don't usually do that so much. Right, exactly. Okay. I want to skip this because I am running out of time. And we're going to come back to these last two things next time. Okay? So hold on to this sheet. And what time is it now? It is 1 o'clock. So I am minutes. So either we're going to do, can you go for a half hour of doing a drawing together, an actual thing together? Okay. There's extra ones here if anybody wants. There's one. Okay. So what I want you to do is to divide into pairs. Okay. This paper is very small. When I do a your turn drawing, I do it on the bigger paper, just so you know. So we're going to work with what we got. So I want you to divide up into pairs. I'm going to work for about, we have enough 2, 4, 6. Okay, so someone's going to be a 3. Okay, someone's going to have to do 3. Let's do it this way. Someone will be in a 3 group somebody who doesn't mind being an observer, because we're not going to have time to do. Wait a minute. Hold on 1 second.
Someone could do it with you.
Because we're going to do that with the window drawing. So let's do if somebody does it in a 3, you can decide if one of you just wants to be an observer, or you want to do a 3-way drawing, of a your turn drawing. Okay, I don't need to decide.
That work?
You guys agree?
Which one are we doing?
Sorry.
Which one are we doing?
Okay, so we're going to do the your turn drawing. Okay, so what I want you to try to do is one of you decide who's going to be the therapist. Okay, decide who's going to be the therapist, and sort of work on how you would give the directive. Okay, how would you give the instruction of what you're going to do? Okay, so let's role play this a little bit and try to experiment with it. The your turn drawing. The your turn drawing again is we're going to take turns drawing. We're going to do a drawing together for about 5, 10, 15 minutes. Okay, back and forth. Ready, set, go. This paper here, you need one paper and a bunch of markers. Anybody else needs a copy of the art structures? They're up here. It's 3 pages. Oh, right, 3 sides, perfect. One paper, one of you is the therapist, the other one is the student, client, patient, whatever you want to call it.
So we're only doing one.
Just one, well, it's your turn drawing.
But then saying we're not
Correct. Correct, just taking turns. She can do whatever she wants. That's right. I'm sorry?
We build on it.
Right, exactly.
It's not supposed to come to any picture or anything, just like,
It will come to something.
Okay, great, let's go. It's supposed to be very silent, kind of, like there's no discussion.
Yes, there's no
And the
stuff.
therapist should remind them, like, how they should do.
Is it my turn? No, I mean, you can.
And the second one always has to respond, like if she doesn't have to respond to that, or I can make it in the other corner other than that. 13 is a very, 13. You're 13. So when you want color, make me finish it.
Doesn't matter. The only rule is take turns.
Are you allowed to reflect on the presentation?
When you're done. Right now, there's no talking.
And you wait for them to signify when they're done?
Yep. There signifies your turn. When they say your turn.
Like thinking.
just go on and on and on.
For about 15 minutes. I'll tell you when to stop.
You still going?
If you want to stop. If you feel like it's done, so that's part of the process. Yeah, they want another person to therapist.
I thought it was quite neutral. She was still processing.
Would you specifically say to a person, add a hack to the person and see if they're reacting specifically?
That's a good question. Wait a hold. Ask that question afterwards, okay?
Very sad.
So take about 2 more minutes, and usually when I realize that it's going on for a long time and I need to end, I end it by saying, how about you take one more turn and I'll take one more turn. That's how I usually end it. Okay?
If I said we're finished, all two was a therapist.
You say if I'm done, I don't want to do anymore. So
It's kind of like the usual kind of.
That's fine. That's fine. Sometimes that's what happens, other times the child needs to be told to finish.
Can you talk about it?
Yes.
Are you not that words?
There's no loud here. It's images, but the words sometimes come up.
We discussed the process.
Yeah, let's just process it, see what comes out.
I was gonna leave this child alone, but I you did a great job.
It's beautiful. Very nice.
That's what I thought. So it's like trying to go take around
I'm not a people, right?
After we started. I saw that, and I was like, until I was doing the therapy. I saw that. I didn't think it was
Let's just take another minute, Okay. What I want to do is show you a couple pictures of some drawings that I have that I've done with clients. Okay, these have all been taken pictures of releases. Whenever I take pictures, I always have parents sign a release form that I can show. I always joke that that's someday I'm going to be famous and speak all over the world and use your child's artwork. So I just want to show you some examples. This one's from 2010, so I've been doing this drawing for a long time. When the child says you go first, again, I can't give you a reason why, but since I've been doing this drawing, I do this at the top. And you'll see how each drawing is different. It just comes out different. This was he was 9 years old, little boy, who's obviously an artist. And you can't tell, but he drew a picture of himself sitting next to a window, drawing a picture of himself sitting next to a window, drawing himself looking like 3 times going in. Whoa. This kid was really deep. Like he was a deep kid. Like it was really intense. Like you can see that there? You see how the picture is? The picture of the picture of the picture, like it went down and down and down. Now, I didn't add that much. I think I did the lamp. Like, he was drawing a lot.
So when you do your turn and you can do like a few things on a picture, then you take it. Oh, I thought it was 1, 1, 1, 1.
It's do as much as you want, draw as much as you want for your turn. Okay? So then this one, I have this one specifically. This was done with a 16-year-old girl who did not want to be in the room with me. It was the first time she came in and the last time. She spent her whole time in these 2 corners. Okay? And yes, you can see it a little bit closer. I took closer pictures. Okay? She spent her whole time in these 2 corners. And all this yellow is me trying to join with her. Every time I would do another thing and try to go down, she would just make stuck in the corner. She was not interested in joining with me and being there, not talking about it, and that was the last time I saw her. Okay. Here you see another one with mine. I obviously, that's how I know I started, because that's what I do. There's all kinds of, back and forth here. This is a classic story. Usually there is it okay that I added the carrot to your snowman because I added the carrot? That kind of thing. Is it okay that I did that? What was it like for you? Afterwards, I said, what was it like for you that I did that? Okay? Here's another simple one. Same concept.
Didn't take it home?
No, so what I do is each child has a big one of those polygonal teaking with their name on it, and I keep it in our own. And all their artwork stays in there. And then when they go home, part of my final session is going through the artwork and talking about what's done, and then they take it home. But I can take pictures of things. I have permission to take pictures. So that's a classic one. So this one, so far we've got lots of skies, right? So this one, she turned it upside down. This girl is also an amazing artist. Oh my God, she's so much fun. She was 16, I think, when I saw her. She made it into like a real fantasy. So she made it into water. She turned it upside down.
She
and made it
always
into
wanted
water.
to turn it upside down.
No. It goes both ways. This one, the child started, and you see there's words here. So I didn't do that much in this one at all. I think I probably added the yellow here and the grass. I don't remember doing that much with this drawing.
You specifically not do too many images and.
Yes, so that's how I wanted to answer that. I specifically don't add a lot on purpose. Because it's not my drawing as much as I want it to be. It's not my drawing. So I don't add a lot. I add one or two things. I don't pick up, put down, pick up, put down. I pick up once my marker, I draw something, and then I'm done. That's just my thing.
Would you put in like a happy type of image to picture that?
No. And on my agenda, it's nothing to do with my agenda. I'm just adding, what I think I want to add to the drawing. Okay, because I'm trying to join. So what I might do, let's say here she did the star, so I added, like shooting from the star. Well, maybe she didn't want to be a shooting star. Maybe she just wanted to be stars in the sky. So in that sense, I am adding my stuff to it, but I'm not going to add it in a sense of I want this picture to be happy.
You're joining more than.
Correct. Excellent. Correct. Here's another really young one. I probably did one of these people down here, or two of them, and he added more people. This is a pretty simple one. I don't remember that much about this one.
Wouldn't you do more like to see what she wants and continue from what she's doing?
I don't know what she wants. We're not talking to each other.
Right, but if you see like she's going like in circles, would you just add circles?
I might, or I might do something separate to see what happens if I do something the opposite of her.
That's not joining.
But I'm trying to, how does she react when I don't join?
Oh, so you do.
I want to know what's going to be her reaction. I'm trying to get an assessment of what it's like when somebody does something the opposite of what you wanted.
And if someone stops and pauses and is really thinking about what they're drawing a specific thing, okay, you'd bring that not whilst they're drawing, but like
afterwards. I noticed. Do a lot of noticing. Okay? This was the little guy who asked almost every week, and he called it a silly your turn drawing. He would want to do a silly one. And we made all kinds of silly, that wasn't one of them. Where is it? Here. All kinds of silly faces together. He loved this. He loved it. He wanted the sillier the better for him. The sillier the better. But look at this guy.
Can I ask what his thing was?
Tremendous anxiety, and then the parents got divorced.
What connection does it have with people silly faces?
To me, it was our way of connecting. Again, I'm not analyzing things. I'm really not. I mean, there's a lot of chaos. There's a tremendous amount of chaos. If I want to do anything that I wanted to analyze or look at it, there's a lot of chaos in this, which that's what. I'm sorry, what?
Can you analyze?
I can't.
Oh, right.
Somebody else can, I don't know. But I wasn't trained, and I don't believe in it. I don't know.
So I
know this is gonna sound really silly, but like, then what's the purpose of this? Or if you're not gonna, what are you gonna do with the information that you?
Maybe builds a lot of awareness.
Okay, so it's building the relationship one.
Okay.
I am a solid, consistent figure in this child's life, once a week for an hour. Consistent. I am not gonna criticize, I'm not gonna tell him what to do. This child specifically loved coming because he was the boss in the room. He could do whatever he wanted. He got to choose to do whatever he wanted. I said, was you guys the one I said made me play chess?
Yeah.
Did I tell you that? Yeah, just the one who made me play chess. I had to play, like he was the boss. So there's a lot of empowerment, tremendous amount of empowerment. I use the relationship, I do a lot of teaching of skills and tools, okay, that comes later.
And what would you then do with the parents? When the parents come back and you've like accumulated some observations, then what?
So with the parents, I'm teaching them the tools that I've taught the child, which are, with this child also specifically, we made, eventually, like down the line, when he was more comfortable and ready to talk about the anxiety that his mother was telling me about, how he wouldn't go upstairs by himself and he was afraid to go into the bathroom by himself and he had all these anxieties, that we were able to talk about it and we made a worry box. Took a container, hummus container, God forbid I should throw anything out. Hummus container, we painted it. He made an opening at the top, and he wrote down some of the things that he was worried: scary monsters, big dogs. And he put his worries in the box, and he put it up on the shelf. It's still there. I haven't seen this kid in 3 years. I told him, this is gonna stay here. Whenever you have a worry, you send it to the box. And we're gonna close it so nothing can get out.
So he can open the door at any time.
And he can, right, and that container's there. Okay, so that's, okay? So in other words, for him, he's putting,
You're creating safety, you're
Correct.
creating just a place to
and it's a
be.
tool, it's a tool.
But you didn't dig into why he's got these stories and things.
I don't know why, I mean, there could be lots of reasons why, but that's, right now, we're trying to work on. I'm sorry?
You never went down that road with it?
Why he had them, I don't know, because of the unsettledness in his house, in his family. And right now, I'm dealing with a highly, highly anxious young girl. It's because the mother is so anxious. The mother makes her crazy. Like, you know, I mean, we all do that to our kids. I told her that. We all make our kids crazy. But there's a rule on you know, do you have what you need, or be careful. And like, our anxiety creates anxiety in our kids, and our kids are afraid to go to school. I know, we all do it. Okay, here's also another quick one, simple. Again, and this was about me drawing inside of her butterfly, I made a sun, and she making a face inside of my sun. And I said to her, what if I didn't like it? What if I didn't like what you drew inside of my sun? And this was a kid who was always apologizing and but I learned that about her from asking that question. So again, it's about learning sort of how to have a relationship. How to get what you want, how to get what you need, okay? This one, again, was just shapes. This is an important one to look at. It doesn't have to become a picture of anything. This was just each of us adding shapes. I started with this, and it became just shapes, one on top of the other. Okay? This one's a little bit more, this also was a little all over the place. Wasn't, you know, drawing different images. This was a story. The story built. In other words, it was a cloudy sky, and then it rained, and then there was a boat, and then a wave came and went over the boat, and like afterwards we processed the story.
I found I had to draw, it was quite limited because I can't draw so well, and I'm very conservative and so I told her I really want to draw like little children playing, but I didn't have to draw it.
I don't either.
You really don't know how to draw?
I really don't know how to draw.
What were you?
I really don't know how to draw. I'm not kidding. This is my dog standing under a tree.
Not bad.
That's my dog standing under a tree, okay? I can't draw.
Are you creative?
I'm creative.
It's not
What would you do with a child that's all over the place?
I mean, that's part of it, is trying to center them, bring them in, bring them down.
I feel like I need to learn what words to use to process.
Right, so this is what we're gonna do, okay? We're going to take a quick break, because I really want an opportunity to do another drawing, and then I will do a demo with somebody on processing. Okay? So I have what time is it? 1:33. Let's 1:40 be back in here. So be quick, get what you gotta do. 1:40. Okay, it's like 7 minutes, 8 minutes. I'm giving you less of a break because I want a chance to get to 2 more exercises. Okay? My goal is to give you as much tangible things to walk out of here with as possible. The theory, the whys, the hows, and all of that kind of stuff, you get to say, wow, this is really curious, I want to learn more, and then we can figure out how to do that. But I want you to be able to, if you're going to be going out there and doing the work, or learning about how to do the work, these are some of the actual exercises that we do and how we use them.
Do you want to photograph our pictures?
Yeah, that would
Me
take a
too,
while.
that's fun.
Yeah, we can throw them up.
Crazy face. Yeah,
Alright, take it, I'm like,
Okay,
it's such a kick. You'll love doing that.
Okay. Okay, so what I would like for you to do is to take a piece of paper, each one, okay, and draw your own window. I didn't pre-draw windows. That would have been like really, really organized and cool of you, but I didn't. So yeah, you're on your own window, guys. One piece. Take some colors back to your seat with you. Take some colors back to your seat with you. And draw. Make a square on your page. Okay? Very simple. Doesn't matter if it's this size or much bigger. Okay, and I'm going to give you the direction again. Give you the directive again. Okay, ready? So let's imagine I have drawn a square on your page. Okay? I have drawn a square. I'm just going to ask you to do a quick drawing for me. I'm drawing a square on your page. But not a very even square. Building in this country, maybe. Okay? This is a window. You are either standing on the inside looking out, or the outside looking in. Draw what you see. You're standing up, choose one. You either can be on the inside looking out, on the outside looking in. And draw what you see. Anything you want.
Do I have to draw myself?
Okay.
What if you can't draw what you see?
I can't really draw a dog standing under a tree. To me, that's a dog standing under a tree.
Well, mine wouldn't look any better.
Okay, so again, this is not an art club. This is not an art club. I'm not going to teach you how to draw. I don't know how to draw. There's no right or wrong way to express yourself. There is no right or wrong way. more minute. Just for time's sake. Let me know the right question.
Good question.
And if the client's finished, would you push them to continue? If they get to class?
Good question. Can I talk while some of you are still drawing? Is it okay? If very, very often, I'll have a child just draw, I don't know, like a stick figure person with a pencil. Say, okay, I'm done. I'll say, really, that's it? You're done? You don't see anything else out the window? That's it? Most times, they'll say, oh yeah, wait, hold on. And then they'll draw something else. And then that's it, really, that's all I see. Do you want to add color to it? Do you see color, or do you only see black and white up in? So I will do some encouraging, and I will note that. I will definitely note whether it took encouraging or the child didn't know. Just important information for you to know. The reluctancy, confidence, fears, whatever it is. Good question. Okay. I'm here trying to figure out how to do this. If I asked who wants to come up and process their picture with me, how many people are going to raise their hand? Oh, not too many. Oh, okay. Okay, so why don't we do it this way? For those who want to, bring me your drawings, and then I'll shuffle it, I'll pick it out. I got to do it.
Are you going to get anything attached to them?
So, if you, honestly, the only thing I ever say to people is even to kids, don't tell me anything more personal here. Anything more or less personal than you want to tell me. It's always the case. Always the last one. You found what?
This like for me, like it's supposed to be much more than hundreds of exercises.
Okay. Well, that's why I'm trying to give you as many as possible so that you can find the ones that work for you. Okay. So I will give these back to you. Chamise.
I knew it. I just knew it.
Okay. Rifdalia? Okay, so why don't you come on up? I'd rather do it at the table. Okay, so this is the drawing that we're working with. If anybody wants to move up a little bit, so a little closer, everybody. Not so far away. Okay.
Can you hold it up for a minute?
Okay, so why don't you come over here with me? If anybody wants to move around, you can do that. We're going to do this one. Okay. So now here, the only issue I have is that I didn't watch you do this. So I wasn't able to pay attention to what you did first, second, or third. Okay? So the first thing, okay? So what I'm going to ask is I'm going to process for a little bit. If you have any questions or any comments, write them down, please. And then I will open it up to the room, okay? It's really important that you don't share more than you feel comfortable with, okay? No, it's a group, there's a group here. There's an eye here. So just do, more than you feel comfortable with. Okay, so the instruction that I gave you is right, I made a square, okay? The only thing I did notice is that you right away started this process, okay? So is this looking in? looking inside, looking out?
Looking at.
I don't ever assume from what I'm looking at that I know. Because it might be that you're looking inside at a picture on the wall, okay? So I don't ever assume that.
The first question would be like, is it looking at?
That's right, so first, yeah, so are you looking in, you're standing on the inside, looking out? Okay. Where would you put yourself?
I would put myself in the middle.
Can you repeat
Okay.
it back?
Yeah. I'm sorry?
The back.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I would put myself in the middle of the window, looking at my window, my house,
Okay,
and seeing the scene.
okay. So this is a scene that you've seen before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Daily.
So it's a scene that you see daily, that you see every day?
Everything.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about what.
So this is
what
my
you see.
block where I live.
Okay.
I'm looking at the windows, I see buildings, I see benches with ladies sitting, ladies pushing carriages.
Okay.
Just a simple, nothing deep.
Okay. So, but that is something that you experience every day? It is, okay. And this around the window, is that something that you see around your window?
No.
No.
But I wanted to make it more emphasis of the window than just a plain box.
Ah,
It's like the frame of the window.
okay, okay. So you want it to be more
Window
understandable that it was a window?
Yeah, they look like bars.
Okay. So that was, and you did that for yourself because you wanted it to look more like a window?
We're talking about a window, so I drew a window
Okay.
and the bars,
Okay.
and then the scene that I see.
Okay. When you're looking out, it's a scene that you see all the time. Okay. Hold on one second. What, these things right here?
Oh, while we were speaking now, I just
Oh, you were doodling. Got it. So it's not part of your.
No, not
doing it. Okay. No, thank you. Okay. So when you're looking out, what's usually happening when you're looking out the window?
there's always people walking back and forth. It's a nice, it's not a dead end, but it's sort of a semicircle. So you only go there if you ask. If you live there a lot, or if you have to ask.
Okay.
And so a lot of children, I mean, mothers with their kids to school, they're done. That's what I see. And the buildings, people sitting on the porches.
Ah.
This is the,
I see.
this is
Right.
goodbye.
So that's really what you see when you're.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to you went there. Maybe we should take a more creative one. Is it fine?
Yeah, doing fine. Somebody wants to come in.
No, they're great, so it's fine.
Okay. Okay, so you feel like it's a boring, it's
So for the class, it's just a very simple thing.
So, I mean, what's really interesting for me is that sometimes things are more exciting in the person's eyes, sometimes they're not. For me, there's no judgment for me.
Oh.
This is your drawing, and this is coming from you, and this is how you're expressing it.
Right.
Exactly. And it's the image that came up for you. That's what's important, is that the image that came up for you is something that you see on a daily basis. I'm wondering if it is a positive view that you see, or is it something that makes you nervous, or is it something that makes
No,
you?
it has to be very nice block. I love it. I moved there like a year ago.
What-
Very nice community.
So the whole community feeling is there
It's
for you.
very good long, yeah.
What do you like best about it?
And there's always people around. Yeah, it's not like a quiet, deserted room.
So there's always people, and it's active, there's people, you always see people out there. And that's something that you really enjoy doing. Is there anything about this that you wish you could change? Would like to change?
I would like to see change looking at it with them. Now that you're saying sometimes I think like I imagine myself living back home and you look at it of my parents' house, the other window you see nice lawns and beautiful grass and and here it's buildings and buildings and buildings and buildings, but it has a different beauty which I got to appreciate more. But if I could have this together with that, it would be better.
If you could have some grass there.
Grass,
Right.
cloud.
Well, there is a tree here.
There's a tree,
There's
right?
a tree, so there is some tree, and the sky is there.
I'm just talking about like everyone should have their own,
Space.
space.
Their own space, okay. So, so I just gave you that word. Is that a correct
Space.
word?
I was-
Space?
It was
that-
space and also beauty.
Ah.
External beauty, nothing more than that. Like to be a nice, the people are beautiful and the place to look here is very, very nice. It's just like everyone looks so condensed. And if you look out, then and you could see people living together and yet having their own place. It was very nice.
Having a combination of the two.
Yeah.
So it's something that you see every day. It's calming for you. It's a comfortable feeling to look out the window. And the only thing that you would change is if you could add some grass or something, or individual living kind of situation. Okay. And is there ever anyone else there with you looking out the window?
Yeah, usually my kids.
So they're looking at
Yes, and so you know, like I mean, forest.
Okay. Okay. And does anything happen when they're? Do they say anything? Do they? Nothing. You're just looking at them.
I just love to see.
So I just take a second to just sort of feel that. Then you're just standing with your kids, looking out the window. But it's a place that is comfortable for you, that you enjoy looking at. And that it's a place that's comfortable. Okay. Good. Is there anything else that you want to add about this? What it was like to do it, or
it's very nice. Like I look out the window and I see life going on. Whenever I decide to, if I want to join, then I just could, you know, I look at it again.
thank you very much. Okay, so that's this one. Maybe we'll have time to do another one. Okay. Okay. That is a perfect example. Really, it doesn't necessarily have to be anything deeper than that. And I love that. What's going on? Love that she was supposed to be, because that's.
No, that was more interesting.
Right, but this was interesting enough. For me, it was interesting enough.
Did you learn anything from
It gave me a lot of information. It gave me the kind of that Galea is is happy where she's living, is content there, enjoys, appreciates what she sees.
It was all positive information.
It was all information, positive and negative. I mean, there wasn't anything negative there from her, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. It was information.
I think that's why she was boring, because it was all positive
Okay,
information.
but again, it doesn't necessarily have to be negative information. I'm just looking for information. I'm looking to understand her better.
Quite a lot of speaking there. No, I'm happy to see that there's also speaking.
So there's the process of understanding what happens. It doesn't always happen. I mean, we're in a classroom with people who are talking, okay? But I don't always get somebody who wants to talk and say, yeah, it's good. Okay. And I take in what I can. I ask the questions. I try not to ask yes or no questions. Like the answer, do you like it? Is it a place that you've been to before? So yes. Can you describe a place that you'd rather be? Like, in other words, try to stay with the yes or no questions, but still.
I was like, well, this she drew a tree that was very sturdy. So I asked them, what does sturdy mean for you? That you wouldn't ask that in art therapy.
If she would have said that, if she would have said something that made me have to ask that question, I might have. But it's also in one of the first couple sessions. I don't want to scare her out of it.
That was scared, and that
A
was
teenager? Yeah. Yeah.
Being too annoying.
I'm just gathering information. I don't want to freak them out. Yeah. I'll show you an example of a window drawing that I did with an art therapy student. She came to me for T-Pool. Oh, that's the wrong one. Window drawings. This was an art therapy student. Okay? In this, I can really, because she's a she's drawing these things, and I could say, who are these people? What do they mean to you?
They're not a child.
I wouldn't necessarily. It depends. It really depends. Okay. So this is somebody, and it was significant. Each person was significant. Which one was she? Her back was to the, like it was significant, so we could really process and I could really understand what was going on for her in this. Okay, what was going on in her life. From the very one, I think this is the second drawing that I do. Okay, so that's an art therapy student. Okay.
Where would you do the window drawing? Like one of the first sessions?
I do it the second session.
The first one?
First one is the your turn drawing. Where did all those nice drawings go? Okay, we have time to do another one. Would you like to do another one?
Yes.
Huh? Lights. Who's this? Okay, come. Sure. Yeah.
You're not asked Betsy why you use two colours, deeper into.
I might. It depends if I just started meeting with somebody.
It's just very understanding.
It's very, I don't wanna, I might do the drawing again another time and then be able to ask more. But it's an excellent question, but I don't wanna scare off, it's
For the
not,
first time.
I'm not analyzing anything, I'm just curious. It's a lot of curiosity. I just
So
want.
for the first session for 1 hour, it's enough just for her to draw a
No, after that I might do also family drawing, something like that. Depends. That might be what I end up doing. Okay, you guys okay over there? Okay. Kavi. Sorry. Okay. This is Kavi's drawing of her window.
What's on the bottom?
Okay, so again, I didn't watch and see you do any of this. So if you could just start by telling me a little bit about what it was like and what the process was of what you drew.
Actually, I could decide to do it looking in and looking out.
Okay.
But then I felt like I wanted to do it more like looking in some place pretty outside and looking into the window.
Okay. And where are you standing?
Where I'm standing,
Are you
I'm just
close
like-
to the window? Are you far from the window?
no, I'm just like, the window was basically like, I imagined the window like ground level.
Okay.
And I'm like standing in the yard and looking in like.
Okay. So it's not, you're not peeking right in the window.
No, she's definitely not looking in. Basically, I was drawing like an afternoon in our house.
An afternoon in a house?
In the house, like what's going on in the
Okay.
afternoon, like with all the kids home.
Okay.
Is
this in your house?
So I was like, sort of like, as I was drawing, I just somehow it came up my afternoon because what else just comes up.
So it didn't start that way?
No, it just didn't start. I was just like thinking, it's interesting because I did myself here on the side, yet I'm still looking in, and I was like doing the mother, yet I was looking in. Like it's maybe a little bit confusing.
So you see yourself in the window?
I see myself in the window, yet I'm looking in.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Maybe like now if I'm talking about it, it's weird.
It's interesting. I don't. What's weird about it for you?
Am I inside the picture or am I outside? Like where am I? Like if I'm looking in, why did I make myself?
Is it possible that you could be looking into an imaginary place and imagining what it would be like if you were inside the window? Is that a
I
possibility?
think
Is
when
that
I
real?
was doing it, I was more looking into myself, the window of myself.
Uh-huh.
That's
Okay.
what I was doing, and that's why I guess I put myself there.
Metaphoric.
Right.
Okay.
So I just didn't feel like kids, the little kids. I'm not very artistic, so I just did stick figures.
I'm not artistic either, so it's okay.
So I did the kids playing. I did it like a child doing homework, and just being there and just overseeing what's going on. I just picture on the wall and the lighting.
So this is a picture that's on the wall?
Right.
Here, okay. And what is this image of, this picture on the wall?
I did a picture and then I felt like there needs a little bit of warmth in the picture. And I just made I wanted a peaceful picture on the wall, like calm.
So you did this part of it and you wanted there to be warmth in this setting.
Right.
So the picture on the wall created that
More
warmth
like a
for you.
homey feeling.
Okay. Okay. So that's more. So that having a picture on the wall is homier for you.
That's what it's like.
It's not an empty wall. Right. Okay. And it's a tree and
Water.
water.
Yeah, peaceful water and a tree.
That's peaceful. Is it an actual picture or is it a painting? Is it?
It's more a painting, and it's something like water and trees, like something that whatever that I'm talking about, it's something that when I wanted to do something for relaxation, I use that.
Okay.
Right.
Now,
I didn't even realize when I did it, but this is basically what I use.
okay. If I would have asked the question and you would have said, I don't know what it is, then I would have said to you, so you answered it perfectly for yourself. But I would have said to you, well, it's your picture. You get to make up whatever you want about it. You get to make it into whatever you want it to be. So you told me in yourself that it's an imagery that you use when you're trying to relax,
Right.
correct?
Right.
The water with the tree.
Right.
Okay, what else? You had the light, okay?
Just did a room, so.
Okay, so there's a light in the room. Okay, great. Okay, so I noticed that everybody's smiling. Is that significant for you?
That's basically what I'm trying to create in the afternoon with the chaos of the kids playing at home all the time and making sure add a little bit of supper time that's coming off the tiredness. I'm still trying to create harmony as much as possible.
So
Maybe that's my goal more, like to have that in the chaos, have the harmony, which is not really realistic always, but.
Well, I mean, that's human, right?
That's
normal.
the struggle.
But what's interesting to me is that you said before that it's weird that I'm me looking in at myself, and I offer to you that it is sort of like an imagination, sort of a fantasy of what you want to create, what you wish it was, and you just spoke to that again by saying the smile is about what I would like for it to be.
Like the dream room, when I look into a dream house, this is basically
trying to create that.
Right.
Okay. And is that something that comes easy for you?
Sometimes yes, sometimes not.
Does it depend on something specific?
If it depends on something specific, it's a good question. I think it's basically how much I slept the night before, how the morning went, how the kids are acting,
Okay.
A combination of
things. Okay. Is there anything about this that you would want to change?
After I finished drawing it, it bothered me that the mother's on the side and not involved.
So you put that meaning to it. For you, the meaning was the mother's on the side and she's not involved with the kids.
Right, like why is she standing on the side and why isn't she just going down to their level?
And that's really interesting because that's the meaning that you put it to it. I looked at it, I might be able to say, oh look, she's right in there with them. She's involved in it.
No, but I felt like she's standing to the side, like she only has a half, like I see, and I also felt like I only see like half of her. Like I don't see the full picture of her because that's why I put it to the side because I really, while I was drawing it, I felt like no, I cannot see the whole picture of this mother, even if I can't see the whole picture of the kids either, but even if I see the whole picture of the kids.
Well, that's why it's really important to me to make sure I clarify that with you. Because to me, it looks like that the mother is in there right in with the kids. And so it's important for me to clarify that that's how you're,
that's how
you thought about it.
On the side.
Okay. So you would like to see her more involved in that.
Right.
Okay.
But again, I did only half because I don't see the whole picture of her.
So you don't know what else is going on, what's happening. Right. Okay. And you're really just looking right through the window. There's nothing else around the window
No, that I don't see the whole picture, I just see the situation.
right there that's going on inside.
Right. And it's also like also felt while I was doing it, like sometimes we just see a picture, we see that you can just see the clear, like in such a framed in view that we see, when we really don't see the whole picture, like the bigger picture of the situation.
So for you, when you notice that when you're looking through a picture, you don't always see the whole thing. That's significant for you.
It's not always, we usually don't see the whole thing.
That you usually don't see it.
Right, I mean, how can we help?
Right. Well, I try to be careful about using we's and you's, like when someone says, when you look through a window or we see the window, because this is about you.
Right.
So it's important for you
I
to
feel
take
that
your
I
experience.
I can never know the whole picture, because even as much as I know, I don't know.
Okay.
And even how much
And this is your drawing, you created it, and there's still that sense of that you really don't know.
Right, because even if I see myself, I don't know, even my own kids, I don't know what happened in the morning. I don't know what happened, like, I don't, even as much as involved as I am, I don't know what was in school today.
Right. So what do you know about that for yourself? We can finish with that. What do you know?
What do you mean?
In other words, that's information that you know about yourself. You don't know what happened to the kids that morning. So how does that affect you when you know that? Hearing yourself say that now.
It's more like giving them the benefit of the doubt.
So that's something that you know that you try to do, you do, you have
And
to
just
do.
be there for them and give them the space to give me the morning.
Is there anything else that you want to add about this? What it was like to do it? Anything else about it?
It was nice.
Okay.
I like very much the art, because I feel that it really connects the inside place of me and it brings out things that I wouldn't normally not be able to bring out in a therapy session.
It's the image. What you're talking about is an image. You're looking at now an image and you can create a whole story around the image.
Remember, while you're drawing, you don't really realize what you're drawing
Correct.
until after you process what you process.
Great. Thank you. Okay. Anyone else want to add?
Yes, I think
To
that,
that? Yeah.
I just like, so when she was like almost, conveying that she kind of felt left out, like on the side. So what came up for me was, maybe that is being a good mother, not being over, being on the side and just being there is that's actually good mothering too. So as a therapist,
So how could you ask that question? How could you ask that question?
I might say, well, how do you feel about being on the side? And, she kind of, I think did, or whatever, right? But, how would I convey that that's okay, that she, I can't tell her how to feel,
No.
But, I guess I have,
You want to explore it. You want to explore it with her. So what is it like? What does it mean to you to be on the side? Does it mean, she might say, it means that I'm not being a good mother.
What I felt about this,
how do you feel about being on the side?
I think when they would be older kids, when it would be my bigger ones, I didn't look like the little ones. When the little ones, I feel that you do need to be more on their level. I need to be more on their level. And with my teens, I feel like I need to be more step out and be able to just give them the space if they want to come.
Which children were in that picture?
The little ones. It's like playing blocks. I did blocks.
And you're feeling a little sorry that you're not involved.
I'm not quite sitting on the floor when I'm playing.
You're doing something different?
No, I'm just standing there on the side and like.
But you still drew smiley faces on the kids, meaning they're still really having
Well, this is Connie's process, okay? So, we could go on and on and on. We could spend a whole hour talking that this might jumpstart a conversation about how Connie feels as a mother.
Does it
feels as her mother.
I need to like over-process something. Make it more of a deal than
I try very hard not to. I stay with the image. And what it feels like to the client. What does it feel like, or what does it mean to you? Okay, part of the reason that they're coming to me is because they're not coming for plain talk therapy. They're coming to use the image. And so I work very hard to go back to the image, to use the image. The story is in the image. That's where the story is. That's where the understanding is. That's where the meaning is. It's in the image. Again, next week she could do a completely different drawing. This is where she is now. Next week, I could draw a chaos outside her window. Right now, this is where she's at, and that's all I want to process of what's going on right now. I don't want to. I try very hard. Something that I still work on is not putting my own words like I did with you. Space. Very hard not to put my own words. I have to be patient with the process and allow the client to come up with their own words in their own process. It's really, really important because it's not about what I assume it means. It's not about what I want it to mean. I wanted to make sure, and so that's why I caught myself, I heard myself saying it, and I corrected it. I said, that was my word, does that word feel right to you? It's really, really important to be able to do that. I'm glad I messed up. Yeah.
So, when you were analyzing Claudia's picture, not analyzing, when you were questioning,
Processing
her picture, I noticed when she mentioned that she was on the side, you're like, oh, that's interesting, because to me, it looks like you're a part of it. And then you paused.
Glad you picked that up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you paused. I was kind of thinking, like, you should have, sorry, not you should have, but what I thought the direction you would have gone with it would have been, like, oh, she said she's on the side, so she already clarified that. So then to continue asking.
Right, okay. So a lot of times what I will do is I will reflect what the drawing does for me, like what I see or what I feel from it. Like, I notice that the kids are all smiling, but it looks like chaos. Is that what it feels like to you sometimes? Like I might say that, and I say, no way, no way. Now, it's my agenda, but I'm checking out that, first of all, that I'm really paying attention to what she's drawing and how it affects me. So when I say, it's interesting because to me, maybe somebody could see that and see, you could look at this drawing and see that it looks like the mother's right there with the kids. She's there, she's in the room, she's watching what's going on. I'm checking out for her, trying to clarify the meaning for her. So I'm challenging it a little bit with what maybe it could be.
And she can argue it, or she can.
And it helps her to sort of internalize it deeper what it is that she did. She went further with it. It created more meaning for her and really internalized it deeper for her, what she wishes, what she wants, what it is, etc. So I challenged it. But it's not about, that's funny, it doesn't look that way to me.
Right.
That's not at all the intention of what I'm saying. I'm saying, I'm wondering if it could look like she is there.
Well, what was the she already told you that that wasn't what it meant for her.
Right. But I wanted to deepen her experience.
Right.
You understand? I wanted to deepen how she was
I don't
feeling.
understand how asking
Even
that, what got
It
to
was
that.
it was a challenge. It was a challenge for her that
To see if she really was, that's really how she felt.
and so it deepens her resolute, like how that, yes, this is how I feel about it.
Right. Right.
Because we create meaning sometimes that's distorted. We all do it. We all create distorted meaning about an event. And it's important sometimes to get perspective on it to see, oh wait, maybe I didn't think about it that way. But no, this is how it really feels. And so I would continue to work with her about how she sees herself as a mother, etc.
Also, it could be things come up for you.
Okay. So that's my countertransference, and that is, you're totally right. At that point, I gotta put that out the window. I have to be really clear about how I feel about myself in the winter. I never with my kids, I never played with them, I'm such a bad mom. That has nothing to do with it when I'm in the session. I am really trying to focus on helping her. Now, I do use my own process, my own life experience to help my clients experience their lives deeper. I challenge it that way because I wonder, it could have nothing to do with my experience. So I might say, do you ever feel like you don't spend enough time with your kids? I might say that, from this drawing, I get that feeling that you feel that way. Is that true? Now, that could be from my own experience.
But it's still okay to ask it. Yeah, I mean, you're saying.
Because I'm passing, I'm offering as a suggestion. I'm not saying, you look like you're fine, so I wouldn't worry about it. That's my opinion, that's, right? And it's different. I'm not telling her my opinion about what I think. It's her process. But I might challenge it or try to deepen it with making sure that she's clear about what it is that she's feeling. Okay? Good? Okay. What I would do with those of you who gave me your drawings is sort of look at your drawings, just go through it if anybody took. If you did it, just look for yours, okay? Just look for yours and take it. And it's just sort of at some point over the week, sort of look at it and try to process how you would process your own drawing. Like questions that you could ask, things that you would think about in looking at your drawing. Okay? Because I really want to try and do one more really quick exercise. Here. No, there isn't. Okay, so I'm going to grab more paper. Somebody do you mind just running and asking for another packet of paper? Okay, but I need to come right back.
I'll be right back. It's just a second.
Okay. What I want to do is this quick exercise, and it's a little different than drawing. Where's my paper? And there's a reason why I want to do this. This is my envelope of people's faces, emotions. Okay? Just don't want to give that water. Okay, there are lots of pictures that I have collected over the years, and every time I sit down to another magazine, I cut them out. I don't want you to think about it. I want you to just come and each grab, just pull out four pictures. Okay? Just pick out 4. Some of them might have one on the back. Don't look at it. Just pick out 4. Okay? Some smaller ones, there's some bigger ones. Just pick out 4.
And you just had a really good idea. Just pick out 4.
Just pick out 4, okay? Without looking. Just pick out 4. What? Yeah, well, that's the problem with small things. So either cut it down or get a smaller one.
Do we have scissors?
There are scissors here. Just loosen it right up. It's just garbage.
What do you think? Plates and buses? What size should I use? The problem with these,
Yeah.
they're putting on.
I want you to look at it and see what it evokes from you. What you imagine based on what they are thinking, feeling, or saying. Again, I apologize if there are any offensive images in here. I tried to pull out as many as possible. So if there's something that you have that's uncomfortable for you or offensive, please feel free to put it back and take another one.
Can you use both sides of the paper?
I'm sorry?
Can you use both sides?
Yeah, unfortunately, like I said, I usually use a bigger piece of paper. What they're saying, thinking, or feeling.
Within one picture or all of them?
All 4 of them. 4 different ones. If there's one that you don't like, you want to come get another one. I'm not picky about this right now. So it's not the point of it. Okay? So either cut it down or do it on both sides. On 2 sides, or take a smaller one.
I do have a rather pretty one. I do have a rather pretty one.
And off what?
That's
fine. That's fine. There's a mix in here.
Like a different trip this angle.
I can just not.
It's funny at this angle. Yeah, but it's supposed to be.
Sorry, can I have the 60 coming back?
Okay, so what you imagine, the person in the picture is saying, thinking, feeling.
All 3 or just one? Saying, thinking, and feeling?
it's not about rules here. This is about expressing yourself and getting to know yourself. That's what expressive arts is about. There's no one way to express yourself. And when you're done, if there's a person next to you who's finished theirs, you can process it together and then we'll come back together and do it in a room. As a group.
That's the avenger. But listen, I don't think it's about what it actually is. Do you need help?
I'm wait, let me stop. What I am, just to let you know, I'm gonna sort of teach as we are creating, is that we're looking for, you just have to keep that in mind, it's really hard to do this. If I was teaching a course where we had, time to do each exercise, do it from the beginning to the end, to really process it, all of that. But when you're in a learning environment, there's learning that's going on while you're experiencing it. That's how I teach. What was I gonna say? Yeah. Sign it with your markers and pens. You can bring them to the bag also. When I do this specific exercise, I'm really looking for assessing how the person I'm sitting in front of experiences a facial expression, an image. It gives me an idea of somebody's emotional vocabulary, your ability to understand facial expressions. I can understand that a child is dealing with someone who's more on the autistic spectrum and they don't necessarily understand what they're looking at. How creative they are, or not. It's fine. What information about them?
What do you do when you come into a real deep vulnerable place?
What do I do for what?
Like if the child goes into a very deep place,
Creativity.
and you have to create safety before the child is happy.
They usually want together until they feel safe. But once you're working with them for a while, they feel safe.
Yeah, but how do you do it? Like, get the child in a safe place.
That's constant work, being there, present, reflecting, building. Once you've done it, you'll know what it means.
That makes sense, but I'm saying that sometimes the child goes into a very deep place, and you don't want to send them out with that motivation.
Oh, that's interesting. So I have to ground them before they
How do
leave.
you do that? That's what I'm asking.
So I'll speak to them.
You think about it?
Yeah. Just FYI, if you want to use this, National Geographic has really great facial pictures.
Magazine.
Yeah,
I can see that.
because it's real, it's not like a model that's in fashion magazines, with real pictures of real people. And part of what National Geographic is trying to do is to find, to create realness in the world, like to show realness, so National
It's
Geographic.
natural state.
Exactly, and that's why National Geographic is so great. And with this specific, when you want to use that.
You know what we do?
Sorry? Okay, so if you're done, just, you want to process with the person next to you, and then, just take 5 minutes, okay? So you do the test, you want to be able to, There are 2 scissors missing, so whoever had the scissors, please bring those back.
That's why oh yeah, you have to scribe the picture.
The only instruction I gave this time is what the person is thinking, feeling, or saying. But if that's something that the person did or wants to do, or that is another idea of what you do. Is there a scissors? Somebody have a scissors?
Oh, I put one, but
I got that one, thank you. Anybody else have a scissors? School scissors, anybody else have the school scissors? We're missing the school scissors. That's weird. What I want you to do is one of you, to each other's pictures that you chose, find one of them that you see that face differently than that person does. Does that make any sense?
I saw that. So I'm really happy. Sorry. So she's like, I'm happy I can make her
Do you see which one? Someone's still maybe writing something.
She may not know that.
Challenge the teenager.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like it's like a social thing.
Right to the bathroom, I'll be right back and we will finish up.
What am I doing?
I use this exercise a lot in many different ways. This is one of them. In other words, what the person is thinking and feeling. And the idea that you could see it in another way, that somebody else could see it in a different way. Which talks a lot about a person, a child, especially with kids, not always reading a situation. They're thinking for sure this is what she's saying or what she's thinking, but not always being 100% that could be how that person is thinking and feeling. So I might say, how else could this, after we've gone through the whole thing, I would say, you know, it's really interesting that this one you thought was really angry. Because I thought that they were excited about something. Isn't that interesting how I thought it was excited and you thought it was angry? Like, I believe that you think it's angry. I'm not saying it's not. But when I look at it, I see something different, and I wonder if that ever happens for you. You see it one way, and somebody else sees it differently. So this is a really, really good exercise in using it for that. Also, the way I also do it is, I say, what is the feeling? Right? So is it anger? Sometimes I learn a lot about their emotional vocabulary in this exercise. Whether they know more than just happy or sad. Sometimes, and so I'll have a list of feelings, and we'll go through the feelings. What are some of the feelings that you could put to this picture? So it helps them understand a little bit more about emotional vocabulary. I find out whether or not they talk about feelings at home this way, because if they have more of an advanced knowledge of different emotions, and you know, there's anger, and then there's mad, and then there's rage, and then there's different levels of different emotions. So it just gives me an idea of what the emotional vocabulary of the child or the person I'm working with is. and what their reference is. So then I can ask the parents later, when I meet with them after, okay, how are these emotions spoken about, are they spoken about, and what's the vocabulary that's used. So it's a lot of information gathering just from an image. And I bet if we passed it around, one person's, and without seeing what that person wrote, we might get a lot of different views on one picture, because it evokes different things out of each of us. Somebody might see, anger, and another one might see anxiety. I mean, it is just amazing that way, and I think that's really, really, really important, because it brings feelings into the room. It brings permission to talk about feelings, how we perceive feelings, how we talk about them, how we understand them, all of that, just from an image that you randomly chose. It wasn't like I gave it to you and said, okay, tell me what this one's thinking. It's really the random pictures, and what pictures evoke in us, what they trigger in us, what they evoke, and what they really, really bring up in us. Any questions or comments about this? Any questions about the process? You guys have been asking awesome questions, so I encourage you to keep asking these questions. You asked me one. Well, they go too deep. Okay, I'll get back to that one.
The models, sometimes they look superficial.
Okay. So what would you say?
Could you then talk to the child about it? It could be the different feelings inside.
Okay, so again, the real goal of this exercise is to sort of look at what that picture is evoking, okay? But if that came up, right, which it's understandable, you're not the only one who brought it up, what would you say to that? What would you say? She looks fake. She looks like she's faking it. What would you say to that?
What lies underneath?
Okay, that's a good question. What else could you say? She said, oh, she looks like she's a model. She's supposed to be smiling.
What's she really feeling inside?
Okay.
What do you think she's really feeling?
What is she's really feeling? Exactly. What did you say?
No, I didn't ask it yet. Like if she ever feels that someone has to smile.
Yeah, I wonder if you ever feel that way.
But when you ask that, not scare her off.
You might. You see, I had that one session. I scared her off real fast. Any other thoughts about what you might say? Because it's true. You know, you think it's fake, but I would say I'm looking to see what you think. But there is something about what do you do about being fake? What do models have to do to be fake? What do you think she's really like? What do you think her life is really like? And that could go who knows where. Fantasy, fears, who knows what information you could get from a person like that.
You look at features, no?
What do you mean?
Like the eyes and the...
I mean, if they're doing it. I have a lot of kids in the Haredi community, whenever I pick out any of the black ones, there's a lot of things about kushim, and there's a lot of that kind of stuff. I don't let my bias and my counter traits get involved with it, but I do present it to the parents. I let them know that I want you to know that this is, and the parents say, yeah, it's fine, then that's where I leave it. I'm trying to, explore openness and love in the world. Yes, that's not there, obviously. Okay, and a lot of the kushim, a lot of these, they're the Arabs, they're the scary Arabs, they look scary to me. There's a lot of that comes up, which is great, a great segue or transition into talking about the matzah and how scary it is and all of that. So in that sense, it's important, it's good. Okay.
I think this is very good for a child that's self-centered, doesn't see another person.
Also good for that, yes.
And being able to see that, the other person can think differently than you and doesn't have to think the same way.
I've used this. I find they don't keep gender specific, but boys have a harder time with this exercise. Little boys have a harder time with this than girls do. And so I really challenge it. I try to use it with boys a lot more. Because they're not as in touch with their emotions. Everybody is, either sad or happy. It's not, more than that. So we're able to build a more of emotional vocabulary with them, with that kind of thing. That kind of thing. Okay, so you asked a quick question that I want to answer. Anybody else have anything to ask or add about this? Okay, you asked some really great questions. I'm gonna hear any thoughts and feelings, okay. Honey, coffee. Ask about what to do if somebody gets really into, they start talking about difficult information. And this is with anybody, okay? It's my job to watch the clock, like I am now, right? It's my job to be in charge of the clock. I might have a clock so that the person can see it, but it's my job to watch the clock. And if I see that it's 5:00 and they're really in some really, really heavy stuff, I have to work really hard to be able to say, okay, I'm noticing that we have 5 more minutes. Let's try to wrap this up and finish what else there is to say about this, and then let's talk about what's going to happen next. Where are you going from here? Is Ema picking you up? Who's picking you up today? What are you going to do this afternoon, right?
Why would you go to what they would do next afternoon?
Because I want to ground them in the here and now.
That's why I ground them, but you're gonna leave them, even if you're gonna ground them, they're still gonna go home with that raw emotion.
Sometimes yes, sometimes less. So what I will say, what always happens, okay, what always happens when this happens is I let them know that stuff came up for them today. Stuff come up, just don't be surprised if it's a hard, if you go home and I call the parents right away. Or I send them a text message and I say, hold on 1 second, just hold on 1 second. I want to hear what you have to say, just hold on 1 second. That I call the parents, or I'll text them right away, and I'll let them know, listen, we had a really, a deep session or a tough session or whatever. Just expect it. If you have any questions, please let me know. If a parent comes in to pick up the child, I'll say, wow, we talked about some really, hard stuff today, just so that, if anything happens.
You discuss it next week, and the next week we'll discuss it.
If it comes up, I will always say if there's anything from last week,
You won't bring it back up.
I might, yes, I might say, well, last week a lot, I have to make sure to take really good notes so that then I can remember what we talked about, so that the next week I know what we talked about. Yes.
Did you say that in front of the child to the parent?
Really quickly, usually I would say, is it okay if I tell you about what we were just talking about? Is it okay if I say that? Or I'll just say, this was a hard session that, maybe we'll talk later. It depends on the child, depends on the anxiety level of the child.
The child might feel that this is their safe place.
Right, so in other words, so it depends. So usually, if it depends on the relationship they have with the child. If I have a 13-year-old who's very, very caught and seen her for 2 years, and she's still she has a lot of trust issues, she has Asperger's, her social skills are not so great, she's incredibly emotionally intelligent, like beyond any 20-something-year-old I've ever worked with. But is wary of everybody and what you're thinking of me and what you're doing, because she knows that she doesn't have the ability to read everybody's face. So it's complicated for her. So I will always say, is it okay if I tell Mom what we just talked about today? Always. I always ask permission. I'm not gonna.
Isn't it more like how the child has a relationship with the parent?
Well, that's I mean,
more than what the child
in itself, that could be, yes, but that comes. That just comes once. In other words, I can bring them on in, and once I've built an alliance with the kid, then I can bring the parent in, and the child doesn't feel like it's 2 against 1. That there's an alliance here. Okay?
You do teach social skills through on.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do that?
It is, really? I mean, next week, not next week, but I'm telling you, there's a lot of physical therapies in 5 sessions. It's not so simple, guys.
We have
to have more sessions.
So I gotta speak to them about it. That's all they gave me. I gotta work with them.
I thought you were invited for more.
On what?
We have to
Maybe you weren't invited.
You thought.
And maybe you weren't invited for more sessions. That's not the issue.
They said you have 5 sessions to do what you gotta do. That's what they gave me.
They did say that well, that's before we begged to have her
We
back.
begged to have you in the first place.
Oh my goodness, I feel so loved.
Yeah, tell you.
Was everyone here like more sessions?
Yeah, sure.
You gotta speak to them about it. It's not my thing. You gotta speak to them about it. But let me just tell you. So we're not meeting next week. Okay? No, we're not next week. I am in a training course in Tel Aviv. I told people that I do.
Next Saturday, the whole day.
Woo!
That's the whole day.
What?
We just need to
I was gonna bring in some play therapy ideas, just sort of like some game playing and things like that, because I wanna, based on what you've told me so far, what? No.
The last session is
The last session is the whole day.
I was trying to pronounce the summit.
I don't, that's not up to me. That's not up to me, I think it was planned on Tuesday, it's hard for me to do.
Last session.
I don't know, it was planned for Tuesday, so I planned for Tuesday. But, you, it's,
No,
between
we
you and
have to
Shannon.
find out how many of us are going to.
That's the issue, so you have to speak to Shannon about that, okay?
So.
What I want you to think about over the next 2 weeks is, first of all, process whatever comes up. If you're into journal writing, journal stuff that comes up for you, any thoughts, feelings. But I want to leave you with, because we're going to do some play, this is play, as far as I'm concerned, but a different kind of play. I want you to sort of think about the games that you used to play as a child, okay? And that you don't play anymore, because some of you are parents and so you might be playing. The games that you played as a child and what you miss about that. Okay? What you miss about those games that you used to play as a child. Like I said, some of you might still be playing games, but we'll take that into context. Tova, Zalto, I hope that you enjoy every moment. You have conscious moments, and you don't just let it go. And I give you a lot of credit for sitting here. I can't imagine what you've taken in today, okay? But that you taking conscious moments and you're mindful of the day and the moments and the people around you. I want to just do a real quick sort of check out. Where we're going. We're all in the room. We're going off into our lives. So we're going to finish the sentence again. Okay? Okay? So, what was my sentence? Right. Finish the sentence. I know that. Anything about what's about to happen? Any markers? Right before you leave, just grab any markers.
I know that.
I know that.